What is the current state of the collective's energies? Show me the collective energies. The energies of the collective I am tapping into. Bottom of the deck is Kairos. That first card at the bottom of the deck was the Lovers. We've got the Heart and the Starborn. Definitely have a theme. It's definitely time for some connection. Many of us have been in long periods of isolation, right? Many of us have, because of the changes that we were making in our values and our behaviors and what we were choosing to tolerate and accept both within ourselves and in our environments and in others, we set boundaries, and that has led to some isolation that actually created those states of separation. There was a fracturing, and this has been both cultural and individual. But we are reaching the end of those energies of looking behind us and letting the past drive what is happening and moving forward. We're connecting back with the heart. And to me, this is kind of creating that sense of, no matter what you believe, this is feeling like we are more than what we have become. Right? When we look around the world, we feel like we are more in ourselves than what we see around us. Right? We are more. We are driven by something value-wise, principle-wise, more than what we are seeing in those around us. That's what that energy is. Okay, so we've reached the end of carrying these past energies forward. We're heart-centered, connected with things higher and greater than ourselves. Whatever you want to call that. My heart chakra is vibrating, tingling a little bit with this. Can definitely feel it. My cheeks are tingling a little bit in response to this card pull. So heart chakra is speaking. Right? We're no longer carrying this baggage of the past forward anymore. We're done with that. We have done the work, the self-analysis. We have healed and repaired. And because we have healed and repaired, we now have a better understanding of why we have felt different all along, right? That we were more able to demonstrate willingness and openness to believe differently than those around us. Okay, so that is the current. This is the current where our heart and our starborn selves have really discovered their strengths, right? But we're at the end of these current strivings. So this to me is the crown energy. These are the astrological energies. So those are the crown energies. That what is above the river that we are floating through. This is an elemental deck. This is the land. So the root, crown and root. You can even look at this as crown, heart, root, and end to those old karmic patterns that were keeping us trapped in our roots and creating tension with our higher consciousness, our awareness of things more than the pursuit of money and material possessions. That is too many. Too many. There are some very interesting ones there, but if I talk about one, I've talked about all, and we're going to stay a little more focused than that. And the more cards we have, the more confused we get. We just need enough to validate what we already know within ourselves to be true, right? That allows us to stay open enough to meet the energies that rise without trying to assign them meaning before our body has experienced them. Okay? We trust ourselves in our higher power enough to be able to meet what rises. But it is okay to need a little bit of validation for the intuition. That little bit of self-assessment and discernment is what keeps your intuition healthy. And that's what these readings should be. They are confirmation and validation of what you already sense to be true within yourself. Because we all need a little bit of self-assessment. Okay, you've been through the depths. You've been through the fires. Okay, that is the land and the current. Now let's get the message of where these are bringing us to. Many of you are feeling like the end of this snake year is really, really, really compressing you. Those last relationships, those last ill-fitting people, places, and things that are making us self-betray, act in ways that are in opposite to our needs, to our beliefs about ourselves, that ask us to operate in value systems that we do not support and believe in, right? The last remnants of that, and it might be the last one that we have, and we may feel that if we let this last thing go, then we're just in a deep free fall, and our entire anchoring in life will fall apart. I've been there. Just in last October, I sold my house and left everybody I knew, didn't tell anybody, and went out into the world, and here I am. I understand those feelings, and many of us are there, right? So where is this taking us to? What does Spirit want? Okay. So that we could develop our sight, to be able to rise above and stand apart, because we live in times where people's values and principles and what they live by are deeply under question. We are entering a stage where the distortion is heavy and the lies are thick. We've been through what we've been through so that we could see. We've been through what we've been through, this tension and opposites with our identity and our connection to Source, so that we knew how to connect in and forge this way for this new beginning. Because we're, things, when you end things and you have all of this shedding, right? The shedding that we have all gone through in order to achieve this sight leaves a lot of empty space in our lives, in our communities, in our social systems, in our global relationships, both in small and large scale, right? So the more we have worked on these things, the more we have gone into separation in order to learn inner union within ourselves, so we can go back out into the world connected with source. And the moon energies right now, we're just coming out of the snow moon, the first full moon of February, the last full moon of the year of the wood snake before the year of the fire horse hits in February 2026. But we went through that so that we were solid within ourselves, so that we could plug in and tap in when shit gets hard. Because there isn't any way to get around it. We went through all of that hell with these situations in our past, so that when it came to us in these large scale fashions like it is, and our principles and our values were questioned for real, we were at least given a choice in whether we were going to consciously go in or be herded along, right? And I'm not saying that one side or another is right, wrong, or indifferent. To me, it's just about, are you being blindly led into the situations that you are walking into, or are you consciously aware and being guided by value and principle that you have chosen to live by and stand for? And we went through all of that because that's what the times need, right? We're all getting to this point where we're tired, right? We've been dealing with our trauma. The generations that had to raise themselves because the parents were either off at war or working due to massive social upheavals like the Great Depression, World Wars, etc. Those generations of children that have had to parent themselves have finally reached the point where they're learning that emotional regulation. They're correcting for those errors of perception that were caused by children learning to survive with no one teaching them how to live in body. Right? That included learning how to emotionally regulate, how to self-protect, how to look after safety. We're all here at this point where we've been doing this long enough. We know these things now, right? So we're stepping out into leadership positions now. And there's just no way to get around it. No matter where you are in the world, to some level or another, you are in a world that is facing some upset and some trials and tribulation. You needed to be really, really aware of your strengths and your weaknesses and firm in your values, so that when these real life situations come to your community and are more than something that you see on TV. Like, as long as they're just things you see on TV, you focus on yourself and doing this within your relationships and your immediate communities and within yourself. You do all of that work so that if and when those things become real life in your communities, you have the ability to see the path forward and the ability to be a light and leader for others in a fashion that is plugged into source and divine guidance. So that's why we're going through that. Let's see. No, I'm going to go over here. These ones are calling louder, and I'm trying to ignore them because I have a way I want to do things, and the source in me is saying no. Give them the guidance. Okay, so this is what is being formed. That's what is being strengthened. What is the guidance for the collective that I'm channeling for? It's ones that are stepping out into the world that we see as the guides and leaders as we face large collective trials and upheavals. One more. Just one more, please. Just one more. You want me to look and see yourself. Give an enhancement to that. Where's that at? Is that it? Who wants to? Yes. This is society that we're in, right? This is the guidance. This is why we went through that, so we could protect and arm ourselves and guide other people in these times, right? Be aware as you are observing things in and around you to never do anything out of desperation, because in doing so, you may never regain your dignity or your reputation. There are some self-betrayals in value inside ourselves that are really, really difficult and challenging to overcome. That's what we've lived our lives doing. And this is here because this is what we are standing against, is because we're done. We are done dealing with this. Like for me, I have lived in one story for 46 years, and I am done with anything that attempts to pull me back into that story. That's this, right? That is the being myself. Everyone else is taken. You deserve the best. Know your worth. And I feel this way and have that because I went through these, right? So that I could be strong enough. So that you could be. Because these are the times that we are in, right? We need to be able to tap into spirit and live in earth and be able to know boundaries, self-regulation, coherence, in order to protect ourselves and others, in order to protect what we love. It took both in order to get that heart center strong enough to face the world. Let's see. What roles will we be playing moving forward? What roles will this collective that I am channeling be playing in the energies moving forward? What role will they play in the dead end? Those things that are ending. Show me the role. The recommended role, Spirit. What is your guidance to the collective facing the dead end? How do you want them to stand? Outward expression. Sentinel. Stand in your values. Right? Certainty with the foundation that you built on. Your rituals, your practices, all of the work you did in your shadow work, the integration, stand in it. Stand in what you have learned. Because these times are going to press against it. What you see on TV is going to challenge your values and principles, and you need to stand in what you have learned about yourself and let no one sway you but you. Starborn. If you don't know what your values are, other people will write them for you. The adventurer. The honest, open, willing. Right? Calculated risk. Knowing how to see the small daily risks to take that will get you to a larger goal instead of practicing avoidance, so that those risks build up and then require an almost insurmountable amount of effort to overcome in order to get to the goal. Because what you avoid now is just going to come around in force later, right? But we've learned that. We've learned that. That's what we're taking forward. Right? Those energies are what we're carrying forward. These are our strengths. The ability to use the discernment to make those calculated risks, right? And to be able to stand. How will this feel in body for the collective? When they are in these energies, how will their body communicate to them that they are aligned and in coherence and resonance? Dead end. too many. One or two only, not three. Simplicity is easiest to understand. The crow. So again, perspective, elevated. So being able to see the big picture, using what you've learned about your past to be able to make your decisions from a wise and balanced place. Strategic. Crows, ravens are very, very smart and strategic, great problem solvers. So stand, observe, problem solve until you feel that certainty. Don't proceed until that knowing, that quiet knowing is within you. Okay, the adventure. How will the adventure feel embodied? The reason I ask feel and then get an animal card is because most of us have grown up with animals on TV and animals around us long enough that we can use our imaginations. One card, please, Mother. That we can use our imaginations to know what that would feel like, be like, act like, look like. So this is the embodied yes. We are in the energies. So when you feel that raven energies, when you're feeling wily and cunning and lofty and even a little bit playful and maybe mocking, right? Think of the personality that you think of the persona of a crow or raven. And when you are embodying that, you are in alignment with the energies that have been cultivated through your experience to rise above these energies of desperation around us. The black egg, this is harsh truths, right? Blunt truths. So when you are feeling like you are facing harsh truths, blunt truths, that's when you're using your calculated risk. That is when you are looking at the balance between responsibilities and expectations. The only person's expectations you should follow are your own, and you should have expectations for yourself. You should expect that you will reach your goals. Right? It's like, why would you set a goal for yourself and not also set the expectation that you are going to reach it? And so stop telling yourself that you're not, like, you don't do that. There's nothing in us subconsciously that is a conscious abstraction. We need to just stop arguing with ourselves. But you know that now. That's what you've done the work for. Okay? That's what this is saying. So let's see. Tapping in to see. Oh, the goddesses want to come forward. So that means that Mother wants to let you know that somebody walks with you and you're not alone. Who walks with the collective forward? And this will be an energetic thing that you can carry around you and step into as an archetype. Again, modeling and mirroring whenever you feel like you need it. Who's around the collective moving forward through this? Stay in your values. Stay true to what you believe about honesty, integrity, what makes people able to have access to you. Sorry, I was doing two things at once, but what is the requirement for people to have access to you based on your values? And then having the ability to set and follow through with those, right? Things like that, but staying in your boundaries, in your values, in your virtues, and not letting other people sway them. Don't let other people define your meaning for you. And once you've made your meaning, you do still have enough willingness to be open to see, right? We had to be open enough to change our perceptions in the first place to overcome conditioning and programming. You never want to completely block out the depth That you trust the eyes of the eagle and the ability to listen so that you can find that heart resonance that lines up with your virtues. So anyway, that's what I've got for you. Thanks.